Hello everybody, this is Timothy Mark with Alexandria.
How's everybody doing today?
And we are Tickle Trunk of Horrors. I'm sure by now y'all know our website, tickletrunkofhorrors.com. And the Gmail is tickletrunkofhorrors@gmail.com. In today's show, we're going to have special guests, the creators of the Living Dead dolls. And so if you're a fan of horror collectibles or anything of that nature, I'm sure that you've heard of the horror dolls, the Living Dead dolls. So we're going to have Ed and Damien on tonight's show, today's show, wherever you're located at, wherever you're listening to this at.
Night, day, wherever you are in the globe.
Yep, and we're currently under flood conditions where we are, so you know, it's been a mess out here in Texas, and it's just not a good thing. But yeah, so there you go.
So I'm gonna, if you've been living under a rock, which I hope you have not been, I'm gonna give sort of a brief intro into who are the Living Dead dolls. And really what began with two friends in New Jersey late one night in 1998. Can you really picture two friends in New Jersey? Has really grown into, and I'm going to agree with this totally, it really is an unstoppable juggernaut with an ever-growing fan base. And originally handmade on a craft doll body, the dolls have really evolved since joining forces with Mezco Toys to become really some of the most sought-after, mass-produced collectibles in the industry. And it's really a worldwide phenomenon. And Living Dead dolls are officially recognized as the world's longest continually running series of collectible dolls. So that really says a lot in itself. And really they've just unveiled, or will be unveiling, the 20th anniversary series, and they're now available. I know a lot of people with the new Halloween movie that's come out, everybody is wanting to get their Michael Myers Living Dead doll. They also have from The Conjuring 2, they have the Nun doll, and they also have a Nightmare on Elm Street. And I'm actually lucky myself to be an owner of a Living Dead doll, and his name is Ernest Lee Rotten, and we're hoping that Ed and Damien can kind of give some insight on where they come up with, not the celebrity dolls or the movie dolls, but how they would come up with Ernest Lee Rotten. And their dolls are really, really incredible. There's even an It doll. So just absolutely amazing. And the quality, I can tell the quality. And if anybody knows anything about Living Dead dolls, they all come in their own little coffin as well.
Yeah, so, and with the death certificate. So so you get a death certificate and you get the little coffin with that. And going back to the Halloween movie, I'm not really as super excited to see it as everybody else, I guess, because I am a fan of the original franchise. And granted, this has got the original members in it. A lot of the original members are involved in this. But what I would say is, you know, I followed the original storyline, and this one does not fit in with that storyline. And they tried to say, oh, it's just a continuation of part 1. Well, part 2, 3, well, 3 don't even count because it didn't have Michael Myers. But part 2, 4, 5, 6, etc., and even the remakes, you know, I mean, they're just going to hell with that one, and they're just wanting to just do a continuation from the very first film. And as a fan, that highly pisses me off, because Jamie Lee Curtis's character was killed in Halloween, the movie Resurrection. So I do not think that that she should be in this film. Even though I am a Jamie Lee Curtis fan, she should not be in this film, period. And so I think the movie would have pleased a lot more people had she not been. But for the people that didn't grow up in the 80s with these franchise films like I did, and some of the films were made in the 90s as well. I know that they're probably eager to see it because they never follow the storyline. So there you go.
Yeah, so I mean, you've been quite kind of adamant about your feelings. Everybody will have their own opinion. I can kind of side with Timothy on that. I really can't see, once a character has been literally killed off in a film, suddenly is brought back to life in a film, and it seems that the storyline becomes blurred, confusing, and to a true fan of Halloween, I think I would be upset myself as to why you're jumping back and forth, and it just becomes a confusing mess. And I don't think you're being true to the Halloween franchise if you're just sort of, it seems like it's a money grab to me. And I mean, again, folks, that is my personal opinion, or
well,
I really don't know what's really going on.
Everybody's over. Jamie Lee Curtis is very overrated at this point, as far as, oh, Jamie Lee Curtis is back. Yeah, everybody's excited about it, right? No, it's just, yeah, I would have felt better if they would have stuck with the fact that her character was killed. And to completely disrespect the rest of the films was not a very good thing for me. The movie was released last night, actually, and I have not yet even decided if I'm going to go see the film or not.
Wow. And I think we can slip back into living dead dolls. And I'm going to kind of name a few creations or kind of a new arrivals for some of the dolls that are out there for some of you that may not be familiar. There's a Resurrection Maggot variant. And then, of course, the 20th anniversary series, a mystery collection. Again, there's Michael Myers is a new one. The Nun is a new one. Also, another new one is the Bride of Valentine pencil sharpener. Another new one again is A Nightmare on Elm Street talking Freddy Krueger. There's blind box figures, Resurrection series. There's just so many. Again, there's It, the Pennywise doll. So they have a lot to choose from. There's even an Exorcist doll, a Clockwork Orange doll, and you know, the list goes on and on of different dolls. And another one that I like kind of, or is a cutie, is Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth Pinhead. I kind of think that the Pinhead Living Dead doll is kind of a cutie there.
Yeah, I've always liked Pinhead, and I don't know if people know the story, well, what happened with the guy that was playing Pinhead in the very last Hellraiser film they did. He ended up not being in the film, and that's because through the production of the franchise films, Hellraiser, he was not getting along with some of the producers. And so when they were getting ready to do the next film, the latest film actually, he was not so excited about it, very negative about it, and I guess he thought he was irreplaceable, and for many fans he was, but they did replace him, and they did make the movie. I mean, come on, if you replace Freddy Krueger on Nightmare on Elm Street, although Freddy's supposed to be, I believe, on the 26th, Robert Englund's supposed to come back as Freddy Krueger in a show called The Goldbergs, which is an 80s, it's a show based off the 80s generation, or the 80s lifestyle, if you will, and Nightmare on Elm Street was big in the 80s. So yeah, we'll be seeing Robert Englund again as Freddy Krueger, so I am excited about that one because I did not like the last guy that played Freddy.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you change up characters, you starting to play with you know, people's perspective and what they really think on the film. Let's put it this way: when you have a good thing going, you shouldn't change it unless you absolutely have to change it due to maybe the actor not wanting to be in the franchise anymore. But you know, don't mix with a good thing because in the end it really does spoil it for everybody else as well.
Right. And you know, and again, I'm a big Friday the 13th fan as well, and when you look at Friday the 13th and you look at how many different people has played Jason Voorhees throughout the years, throughout the whole series, my favorite has totally been CJ Graham, and maybe that's because CJ played Jason at the time which was when I was living in Georgia. I grew up in Georgia, and he was playing Jason, and they were shooting it in Georgia, in Covington, Georgia. And so that may be why he's my favorite. But what I can tell you is that I just was not really. I didn't. Everybody likes Kane because Kane was in 4 Friday the 13th films. You could take any individual and put them in 4 Friday the 13th films, and they'll like them just as much as Kane. Kane was not a proper replacement for C.J. Graham in my eyes. It was a big deal when Friday the 13th Part 6 came out, and the way it came out with the Alice Cooper song, doing the video. Very big deal. I just thought that they should have just kept with CJ and ran with it. And I just read today in the news that Sean Cunningham actually lost the trial against Victor Miller. They've been in having a legal action going on as to who has the rights to the film. I don't know how Sean ended up losing that, but the judge awarded Victor Miller the rights. So they was going to go ahead and make a film with Victor Miller. They were going to make a film, 2.5, 3 years ago, but they could not get the, which was supposed to be released this year, I believe, or last year, but they could not get the money straightened out. So Sean did an immediate appeal, and they're going to go back to court. Hopefully they work out a deal, because there's money to be made. Everybody's going to make money, and the fans want to see Jason back again.
So now that you've touched on more on films and something, let's really think about this, or maybe contemplate this. What is our fascination with death? And what is so fascinating about having a living dead doll? I know for a while, for my birthday, I wanted to have a vampire newborn. I just wanted to carry it around. I mean, what makes us want to carry around or have around us maybe a macabre, a grotesque doll? What is it that appeals to you? I mean, yes, horror appeals to us, but I mean, my particular doll, Ernest Lee Rotten, I mean, he's a ghoul. So what would possess an adult to want to carry around a ghoul doll? And I mean, I love my doll. I'm going to be doing videos, what have you, and it just seems like it's almost regressing back to childhood with a horror twist. I don't know how you would describe it.
Well, I describe it as, it's okay to have a few horror dolls here and there. I would describe it as a personality defect in a lot of people.
Excuse me? It's not, you're saying I have a personality defect?
What I'm saying is that with our generation of people, we had the nature to want to be rebellious against things that were good, wholesome, and moral. And so when you look at that, that's why the 80s horror films did so good, and that's why these dolls are doing so good among our generation of people. And then we had kids, and then with our generation having kids, we raised them to be kind of similar and like these things, and there's nothing wrong with it. But I think also there should be some kind of moral ground, where there's a lot of people out there that don't have moral ground, and they don't have nothing wholesome in their life or morally good, and they want to surround themselves by stuff that are completely just out of the case. It's different if you have a home and you have a couple of living dead dolls in there. That's different than what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you just completely want to decorate your home in this fashion and live a very ungodly life. And that's coming from somebody. I'm a Judeo-Christian preacher, and so that's my view on it.
Well, I mean, we have to give it a perspective too. I mean, horror, appeals to people on so many different levels. Whether you're a horror film fan, you're a horror book fan, you could be into horror makeup, masks, dolls, costuming, jewelry. Horror encompasses or is under the umbrella of so many different things, and I think it is ultimately on your personality. I mean, I still would like to get a Jack the Ripper doll, because I know they have. I'm not quite.
And I don't see nothing wrong with that. And what I'm talking about is people that like to You know, you have these people that are like in their 30s and 40s and dressing goth style, and they're wanting to pretend they're witches and stuff and dress in that manner and way, when really they don't have the work ethic or the even we was interviewing Brian Olette, and he even said the same thing. They don't have the dedication to put the time into really getting into something like that and doing it. These are just lazy people who don't, you know, I don't know. I just disagree with it. And people can challenge me on that. Put it in the comment section if you want to. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate comments over that one. But I disagree when you have a 40-year-old woman running around telling everybody she's a witch, and she probably don't know nothing about witchcraft except what she's watched in the movies.
Yeah, but I mean, some people are actually living or reliving childhood, and I mean, you're only as old as you think you are. So I mean, this may be a creative outlet for people to express themselves. I mean, people express themselves in music, art. Maybe this is their way of expressing their inner child, and what better way to have the macabre, grotesque, horror surround you. And
well, I'm not against horror. I mean, I've made horror films, I've written horror books. I'm not against horror. I'm just against people who are trying to create shock value for a normal society who has high morals and trying to live a wholesome life, and these people are trying to create shock value. That's different. With Living Dead dolls, I see that as something that's a great collectible, something that anybody can have, whether you're Christian or non-Christian. You can have a Living Dead doll as a collectible. I don't see nothing wrong with it. Well, I mean,
you're a fan of, just use as an example, you're a fan of the movie The Nun. So you want to get the ultimate collectible is the Nun doll, or Halloween, the Michael Myers doll. I mean,
right. I mean, if you're a fan of Hellraiser, the Pinhead doll.
I mean, why not have that? I mean, for me, I mean, it's a way of expressing what you like, or maybe your favorite film. Like I said, they have the Exorcist doll, the It doll, and I mean, it's just a way of kind of expressing your taste, maybe in horror. And another way, another interesting fact is, as we know, Living Dead dolls has worldwide distribution, and that allows them to reach, you know, fans all around the world.
Can I say this though? I mean, it's great that they put that on their website or whatever, that they got worldwide distribution. What people don't realize is when you release any product, and if you release a product and it hits Amazon, you automatically have worldwide distribution. That's not saying a lot. Any company with a product has worldwide
Yeah, but they could
distribution.
have retail outlets. Yeah. There could be stores in London that carry Living Dead dolls. So it's
no,
just not on the internet.
I don't know that they actually got stores.
Yeah, they actually have some retail outlets that carry the dolls, yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
so that's the only reason why I mentioned that, is that they, you know, they have worldwide distribution.
Well, that's great. I mean, you know,
but
that's I would love to go to one of their stores.
But in, you know, contrast to other doll making or doll manufacturers, is that they actually are staying true to their humble origins, because each doll is designed by one of the original creators, either Ed, Damien, or Michael.
Okay, so I know that we got Ed and Damien on tonight. I don't know what's the deal is with Michael. We don't have Michael on. So we got Ed and Damien, so maybe they can enlighten us on what happened with Michael. But it's great. I think what they had was a great idea, putting a doll in a coffin, putting a death certificate with it, and you know, even me coming from a Judeo-Christian background and a lifestyle, I totally support this product.
I think it's so well done. The presentation of the doll, it's much more than the doll. Each doll is in their, like I said, in their own coffin. It comes with a little bio. Ernest Lee Rotten actually has, again, his death certificate at the back, and he also has a mask. And they're always also saying that a lot of people are jumping the gun and saying, my doll didn't come with a death certificate. It's actually, you have to open the case, and it's taped to the back so it doesn't get destroyed.
That's the problem.
Don't
a lot of people don't open the case. because they want to have it as a collectible.
They
but
want
you
to
gotta,
keep it pristine.
Yeah, in mint condition. But if you really want to keep something in mint condition, order 2 of them. And have one that you take out and use for pictures or whatever, and video or whatever you want to do with it, or take it around with you, or and have one that you just keep in mint condition. But yeah, they definitely do have a death certificate in there. And I do know, I didn't know that they had stores until you told me, but I do know that they are on Amazon, and you know, so, and you can order from their website, and many different places you can get their dolls, and they're definitely worth the money.
They're a well-made product. They're something that, I mean, you can actually take out of the coffin, pose it. It's not going to snap. It's not going to chip or whatever. I mean, they're able to be used with, like anything else, people, with care and common sense. Take care of your collectible. And the coffin does have a clear plastic, so the dust can stay away from it, moisture, because that's what really kills a lot of collectibles, is damp, moisture, dust, and any maybe even moths, because my particular doll has a nice velvet, crushed velvet with boots, so you know they're well made. That would make a most interesting collection as well. And I'm just looking through some of the products, and I find absolutely fascinating. And I don't know if teachers would allow it in the smaller grades. The Bride of Valentine pencil sharpener, and actually you can actually sharpen the pencil through her eye or through her mouth.
Now, which one is that?
That is the Bride of Valentine pencil sharpener.
Wow, that would be awesome. And what's that retailing at?
At $16, and it says that it's actually brought back by popular demand, because it was actually introduced in 2002, and it actually comes, it'll fit neatly in your pencil case, your backpack, or your bag. And you can see here that it would be kind of freak out your teacher or somebody when you pull out this Bride of Valentine pencil sharpener, severed head, and to see actually she chokes out of her mouth the sharpened pencil pieces.
Hold on, let me
gags
see that.
them out.
Wow, on the website, folks, if you watch it on the website, yeah, she actually gags out the pencil shavings. That's pretty awesome. That's a great idea. And
recommended ages is 15 and up, but I could see a lot of 10, 11-year-olds. I think I would have liked that at age 8. I wish they would have had stuff available like that. I'm sure I probably would have been kicked out of school, but who cares?
Yeah, well, you know, I think it's a great idea.
And some of their dolls, too, a lot of you may not even know that, but some of their dolls come with sound. Everybody must be thinking, because as an example, Resurrection cuddles with sound. So I'll talk you to death. The first ever talking living dead doll. So, yeah, she'll talk you to death, all right.
Wow. Yeah, she looks pretty creepy, actually. And the fact that they did it right to make a doll that will talk you to death. They definitely hit it right when they made a female doll that will talk you to death, because they had the option to go male or female, and they actually went female. So that's right.
Well, we say nothing but intelligent things, so yeah, we may as well talk you to death. So that makes perfect sense. So there you go.
Yeah.
You don't really have too much to say after that comment, do you?
I'm going to leave it alone.
Good plan. But yeah, I mean, I really have to say that, you know, I'm very pleasantly surprised that Living Dead Dolls really has something for everyone. And if you have that person that's so hard to buy for, has everything, I mean, what better if they've got a favorite horror movie? Get them a Living Dead doll. I'm telling you, they'll love you for it.
Yeah, Living Dead dolls, you know, and not just with living. I mean, we're talking about to the creators of Living Dead dolls tonight, but you know, not just their dolls, but any horror thing that you want to collect. There's nothing wrong with collecting it. There's nothing wrong at all, and I'm bringing this up from a Christian perspective, Judeo-Christian perspective, not a weak, turn the cheek Christian perspective. So yeah, it's definitely a great product, very well made. Actually, they're very hard to destroy. Then I'm going to tell you this. Now, this is the second Ernest rotten doll. The first one we put through a science experiment to say. So we had this doll twice, and through that experiment, or whatever you want to call it, we seen what it would take to destroy one, and these things are very durable. I mean, you'd be surprised how durable
Well, I
they
mean,
are.
a lot of the dolls, let's face it, have rooted hair, and they have, like, some dolls will have 5 points of articulation, and they're quite durable, pliable, and can be posed. And I can tell you that their outfits that they come really are, will really take your breath away. And there's a lot of thought that goes into the design, the look of the doll. It's just, you can clearly tell that it's not something that is just slapped together that maybe will last you maybe a month or something, and don't give it to the kids because it'll be torn apart. So you really will be pleasantly surprised with the quality of these dolls, and it'll just amaze you. And I'm really looking forward to hearing more about the 20th anniversary series mystery collection dolls. I think that's going to be absolutely amazing, and apparently, according to the website, they're already sold out. So we'll have to get you. You have to get on a waiting list or add it to your wish list when the doll actually comes back. And this year, the Living Dead dolls are celebrating 20 years of terror. Can you believe it? 20 years of terror. And to really kind of commemorate this, they've really they're blowing the lid off a mystery of the 20th anniversary series. And it's they really they say they're unearthing 5 fan favorites, and also introduces a sixth doll that's a variant of Candy Rotten. So the 5 unveiled mystery dolls include Posey, Damien, Sin, Sadie, and Exorcist. So not Exorcist, Exorcist.
Is that supposed to be the Linda Blair lookalike?
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to look at Exorcist closely.
I know they have one. They have an Exorcist
Yeah, they
doll.
do, but this is different because it's spelled E-G-G, like egg.
I believe that this is the company that had the...
Yeah, they do have an Exorcist doll.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
But this is just 5 unveiled mystery dolls, and they're actually, they have unearthed 5 fan favorites, and then they included a 6th doll, which is a variant of the Candy Rotten doll. And Candy Rotten, this time they're featuring her with blue hair. And it's an ode to the days of handmade Living Dead dolls. So really, it's a smart-looking collection of dolls. And this particular 20th anniversary collection is all females. And they're all girl dolls of various shapes and various outfits. I don't know if they even have, I would have to ask them. I've never seen if they have a Lizzie Borden doll. Or would they be allowed to have a Lizzie Borden doll?
Yeah, they'd be allowed to have a Lizzie Borden doll. They'd be allowed to have a... do they have Jack the Ripper?
Well, they have they have Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, but I think, is that Jack the Ripper that didn't really look like Jack the Ripper, right?
I didn't think it did,
no,
but
I don't think it does.
It was wasn't it Slick Heel Jack or something like that?
Yeah, I don't think that one actually fit the profile with the Jack, and that may be for reasons. Maybe somebody else has designed one and has the ownership of it. I don't know. You never know these things, but you know, it'd be great if they had a Lizzie Borden doll. I don't know if they do, and maybe since it's called Living Dead dolls, they could take now, since horror's been around for so long, they could actually take now and go back and take some of the old horror actors, and you know, you could have a Frankenstein doll, or you can have a Boris Karloff doll. I think Boris Karloff would fit in there just fine.
I guess yeah. I just typed in on their website Lizzie Borden, and no match is found. So I guess they don't have a Lizzie Borden doll. I mean, I don't know how they come up. Maybe it's just maybe horror films or something. I don't know. Or I know
maybe they don't do things that's based on actual crimes.
Out of respect for the victims, maybe.
I don't know, but I mean, I would definitely do a Lizzie Borden doll. But you know, who knows? Yeah.
Or even I would even do. I mean, there's been so many different people throughout history that have been very ghoulish, even done very horrific things, like King Henry VIII had how many of his wives beheaded and killed. I mean, you could do but maybe you'd have to get special permission for historical characters. I'm not.
What about Elizabeth Bathory? They got her?
I don't think so, no.
The Blood Countess? That they got
no, or
Vlad the Impaler?
I don't think so.
Wow. Those would be great ones to add to the collection too. But they got a huge collection of dolls already. But, you know, they have the ability and the talent to really do a Vlad. They have the ability and the talent to pull off a Blood Countess. And they could do these things. I mean, you know, and
yeah, they don't. No matches.
No matches found. Okay. Yeah, we're currently on their website while we're waiting on their call. They just texted me and let me know that they're running behind, so they're going to be a few minutes. So there you go. So we're just going to scroll through their site and tell you what we see.
But yeah, I think that's a question that we would have to ask. Why maybe they don't want to go in that direction of historical figures for some unknown reason. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That's a good question.
Because I'd love to buy a little mummy doll, and
what was their first doll? That's what I want to ask them.
As far as I know, that they've had 34 different series, 34 series.
And how many dolls is in a series?
They've got so many of them. I'd have to go back, and it's a lot of dolls. Have so many dolls in the series. They have glow in the dark ones. They have. It's just so many. They've got pumpkins. They've got so many.
Let me see the pumpkins. Show me the pumpkins.
Pumpkin here, actually, he has the face of, it looks like a ghoul, but a lot of them have masks as well.
Oh, I like that one too. See, they got a lot of great dolls.
And you know, the thing I like about it is that they give you information about the doll. They just don't say, you know, the doll's name is Pumpkin. They give you the death certificate. They give you a little bit of history, and you know what it's all about. And like, it's just, you could be on here forever and a day trying to find or trying to settle on, and who could just get one doll? I mean, I think it's absolutely impossible. And I'm noticing too, and I may stand corrected, that most of the dolls are female. And that's what I'm seeing.
Well, I mean, they're dolls, so I mean, you know, and if you're...
Well, it's nice to have male dolls
well, yeah,
as well
I
for
like
a change.
the fact that they got Freddy, they got Pinhead, they got Michael Myers, they got Jack the Ripper for the horror collector. And so...
we were actually going to look at Lou Saphir before, remember? But we decided against him. He was one of the possible ones when before we set it on that Ernest Lee Rotten. So he was another contender, and they even have a Lilith doll.
Let me see the Lilith doll.
So anybody that's a fan of Lilith, I think she's kind of well done as well.
Now, okay, we run a podcast show, and doing the podcast show, I will say that we give honest reviews on things. I like a lot of the dolls that you showed me. I don't like this doll. I do not like the Lilith doll.
Why is that?
I don't like the look of it at all. I'm not impressed with the Lilith doll. They got a lot of great dolls. That one I don't like. Here they go. Let's do this. Hello, welcome to the Tip of Trunk of Horror Show. You on with Alexandria and Timothy Mark. How you doing?
All right, Damien here from our Living Dead doll.
How you doing, man? We were just on your website going through all the dolls y'all have, and man, y'all have quite a collection. And one of the things the questions that we have when we were looking at the site, because you have different series, is some of the dolls not available anymore?
Almost a lot of them, no. A lot of them aren't, because usually, you know, we do a series and it's limited to only so many, and once it sells out, like pretty much every series is sold out. We don't go back and remake any of them. So a lot of stuff, yeah, it's not available anymore. You have to find it like on the secondary market.
Okay, and what year did y'all start the company?
1998. The first few were made, but we signed with Mezco Toys in the year 2000.
Okay, what was your first few dolls that you had?
They were basically the first couple characters that you saw in series 1, which would be like Sadie, Posey, Sin.
Exorcist.
Yeah, Exorcist was an early one.
Yeah,
So,
man, that one's still available, right?
Yeah, I mean, no, not right now. Right now, no. But there's usually versions that are around, but right now, no.
Okay. And yeah, man, y'all have a great product. We actually have Ernest Rotten, and this is the second Ernest Rotten doll that we have. The first one, you're not going to like what we did to it. We wanted to test the durability of it, so we actually tried to put it through a bunch of tests to see how strong it was, and it's a very durable doll.
Forged in hell.
We actually, it broke my heart to put him through almost a version of the movie Saw, but that's basic. He didn't survive for a sequel, I can tell you that. But I was very, very impressed and kind of crushed at the same time. And we had to hold a funeral, or maybe a second funeral for him. And as he passed away, probably for the second time.
We did a reorder though, because it was a very impressive product, and like I say, the durability of the dolls is excellent.
Well, thank you.
Good to hear.
So whose idea was it to come up with having the coffin and the death certificates and things like that?
That was something we did when we first were making them by hand. We kind of had like a whole presentation that we made. We had like cardboard coffins that we were folding and silk screening the logo on it ourselves and stuff like that. So we had lining them with tissue paper. So we kind of made like a whole presentation when we were making everything by hand. It was just like a whole package we developed, and it just all looked so good that Mezco really didn't change too much with the design and the packaging. They just made a few tweaks here and there to give it like some, I guess, to be able to display on the shelf in stores.
Yeah, that's I guess we got a lot of questions for y'all, but one of the questions before I forget it is one of the favorite dolls would be Jack the Ripper. Is that one still available? And if not, is there another source that we can get it from?
Yeah, I'm sure you could probably find it like eBay, and direct sources. It's tough. You could just check who was ever carrying. Or might have that just by doing a search for the doll. But we wouldn't even know.
Yeah, Jack the Ripper. That was an exclusive to a UK distributor, so that wasn't even available in the US when that came out.
Wow, because I took a look on your website, and had a good look at him, and I can tell you, he is so well made, and just like all of your dolls. I mean, just the way they're outfitted and the expression on their face and everything, it's so well thought out that it kind of just inspires you, just want to keep looking at the doll. And I can't even tell you, looking at the doll, what it actually does to the consumer. And I just think kudos to you for kind of inspiring. It seems like these dolls take on a life of their own and become, characters in people's own movies.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and thank you for that. We work hard at trying to keep it fresh and try to do something that people can relate to.
Different people get different things out of the doll. They appreciate different aspects of it, and everyone takes away a little something different from them.
Now, let me ask you, so our audience can differentiate between who's Ed and Damon. Which one of y'all are Ed?
That'd be me.
Okay, and that way we can understand who's who here. Now y'all have Freddy Krueger, you have Pinhead, you have Michael Myers, you have a lot of different horror icons, and so what would be each one of you your favorite growing up as a child? What would be your favorite horror monster?
Wow. I mean, like when I was really young, some of my youngest memories. Funny story was apparently a few days I ran around asking for my sick and tire, and my parents had no idea what I was asking for, and I kept saying sick and tire, and it turned out it was my Frankenstein doll, the Frankenstein monster doll that I had, that I guess my mother had purchased for me. So, I mean, I grew up on a lot of the classics, Creature from the Black Lagoon and stuff like that, but realistically, when horror really struck home, and I was obsessed with horror, it would, it's a cross-up between probably like Jason and Leatherface would be two really big influences from when I really started enjoying horror films and kind of branching out on my own, away from the classics.
Okay, yeah, that's Jason's definitely my favorite. What about you, Damon?
I don't know if I really have a favorite character. So, I mean, yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Exorcist. I was always just kind of like into zombies mostly. They were kind of like my favorite monsters. So, I don't know, probably maybe Karen Cooper from Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, okay. The original Night of the Living Dead you're talking about.
Yeah, the little girl.
Oh,
that
okay.
movie, I always thought she was a pretty creepy thing. Kids are frightening, so she was definitely up there.
So we understand that you have a 20th anniversary coming up, and you have the 20th anniversary series. And is that fully released yet?
Yeah, it came out about a couple weeks to a month ago now.
Okay.
So it's in stores now, yeah.
Okay, and Alexandria was telling me that y'all have some actual retail outlets. Where's your retail outlets at?
Well, we don't necessarily have a store ourselves. Like you can buy a lot of stuff on Mezco Toys website, and we do conventions around the country selling stuff.
Okay, awesome.
This next weekend we're at the Chiller Theater Convention in Parsippany, New Jersey, and we'll have a really big display of dolls for sale there all weekend.
I bet y'all sell out every time, huh?
We try.
Yeah, man. Y'all got a very specific. I mean, when you see a Living Dead doll, you can look at the doll and tell it's definitely y'all's doll. Y'all have y'all's mark on it. You can tell it's a Living Dead doll, even if it's not in the coffin. You can say, "Hey, that's a Living Dead doll," and so that's a very hard thing to pull off, and y'all pulled it off.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things we always wanted to do was have our own unique look that you would be able to identify, and every even though especially we do different horror characters like Freddy and Jason and stuff, but even though we're incorporating our look into those characters, so it still I think retain the Living Dead doll look. That was always important to us when we do licensed movie characters.
And I think the part that appeals to me is, as with any product or presentation is everything. And I mean, you could have the best looking thing in the world, but if it's not packaged or presented or displayed properly, you can just kind of forget it. And, my particular doll that I have, I mean, Ernest Lee Rotten, just the way that he's presented with the orange tissue paper, and the story, the little bio on him, it just makes it so personal and almost indestructible. Like, I have him displayed in his coffin more than he's out, because he just looks like a piece of art that I could have displayed on my table. He's moved from place to place. He's just like a coffee table art that people were just sort of looking. It's a conversation piece.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
And I mean, if you can, as an artist, and that's what you guys are, is that you're artists, that if you can kind of inspire people to do so many different things with the end product, it kind of puts you on a different level. I mean, you just didn't slap him together in a package. You know, you're unique with the coffins, the tissue paper touch, and then the thing that I like is even when you're kind of perusing your website, each doll has a write-up on exactly who they are, so you become on a personal level with this character.
Yeah, that's everything. You know, all the characters have their own unique personalities, and we you know, just like struggle and strive to, you know, make sure that we're, you know, giving every one of them its own unique touch.
Yeah, I mean, we most characters that either one of us has, you know, designed within, you know, the original brand, you know, we kind of really know that character inside and out. We try to give, you know, just a little bit, just enough that people can, you know, maybe feel where we're going with that character, but that they can also kind of make it sort of their own. And, you know, that's been important to us, I think, artistically, that, you know, we make sure that it's still really highly relatable. But also there's a huge sense of humor behind a lot of what we do. And, I just think it's great that people are, you know, still getting it 20 years deep.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, what we like to do is, because y'all are artists, and what we like to do is get to know our people that we're interviewing. And, you know, we can't interview like Da Vinci or Michelangelo or anybody, but however, we do have y'all on the phone, and y'all do create great art. And so we'd like to ask y'all questions about yourself that our audience could get to know you better as artists. And one of the questions that we tend to ask all of our guests is, do you participate in Halloween festivities? I'm assuming both of y'all do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
So as children, what was y'all's favorite Halloween costumes for each one of y'all?
I know I went as Dracula several years in a row, from when I was really, really young. I was also a hobo, Darth Vader. I still have pictures of that one. And but I tended to always want to go back to the vampire thing. I don't know why.
There you go.
My favorite was I had an old skeleton, you know, plastic mask with a vinyl outfit and stuff. I think I had like a little cape to it, but the whole thing at the time was like the lower jaw of the mask was hinged, so it moved when you opened your mouth and stuff. And I was like, you know, back in the, I guess it was probably late 70s, early 80s, I was just like enamored that a mask could move like that. So I was all skeleton.
You know, it seems like I've went as a skeleton too, and I've definitely went as Dracula before. Never did the hobo one, but that would be pretty awesome costume. You know,
I went one year as like a Vietnam vet guy, like all like bloodied up and shit, and I got hit by a car.
Oh wow, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's not good.
I'll tell you what, there was a Vietnamese family that hit him.
Was it?
I did not stop trick or treating. I went like for the rest of fucking pain.
Oh man!
But I continued my trick or treating.
Wow.
Was it a Vietnamese family that hit you?
No. The elder thinks that I was in the street.
Oh man! All right. Yeah, that's.
That story all up.
Wow. Like 30 of them in the car.
Maybe we should just stick with us a Vietnamese family that hit you. That's all. I like that story.
Carol, you got me.
Yeah. What about what was y'all's favorite candy back then?
Probably Baby Ruth.
I've my whole life I'm a Reese's peanut butter cup kind of guy.
Yeah. There you go. I like both of those actually. So, yeah, like you say, y'all got a lot of upcoming events y'all gonna be doing, and y'all gonna be in New Jersey. Do y'all go to I know they've already had Scarefest, but were y'all there?
No, we've never been there actually.
Yeah, that's like one of the biggest. Patty's been doing it for a long time. I'm not sure if she's still running it now, but that's a very good convention. I'm assuming that everybody wants to see y'all, so that's definitely one y'all should probably get into next year.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that for sure. I mean, we definitely want to, branch out and do as much as we can. We're kind of limited to, what we can do as far as like how much like we can drive to and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely try to make it out to Scarefest, man. I think y'all have fun there. And
I had a question too, because I know you do a lot of horror movie icons. But other than the horror movie icons, where do you get your inspiration for creating your masterpieces? Because I know a lot of people, like both of us were published authors. I mean, I've written books on cemeteries and different things. So different places or things inspire us to create. So what is your inspiration for creating some of your masterpieces that are not like historical or movie icons?
It differs for me almost every series, or every time I'm going into something related to the original characters. But I'm influenced by pretty much everything. Absolutely around me is what inspires me. But I usually get in a mode where I try to watch as many horror films as I can. I try to listen to some of the albums that have always been really important to me, growing up and stuff, and that seems to really help. It seems to put me in a better place, and then I just try to constantly think about whatever maybe theme we're going for, or what I think the character is already, or how it's starting to come about, and then from there, usually stuff gets really, really easy, and characters just start to pop up, and I roll from there. But everybody's, I guess, process is completely different.
I think movies and music is just a huge influence on a lot of the stuff we do, and you just kind of get inspiration from that everywhere in life. You can find the littlest thing around you that'll give you some kind of spark of creativity, and then you just take it from there, and it winds up going in a completely different direction.
Now let me ask you, what type of music do y'all listen to?
Everything.
Yeah, we both are so eclectic when it comes to our musicals. I like to think of it as I like to say that maybe I like anything that seems truly passionate to me, like as if people are playing it straight from the heart, and they really mean it. But my biggest musical influence is probably like punk and metal.
I'm glad you said that, because
gravitate between the two. For a certain period of time, I'm like all metal, and for another period of time, I'm mostly punk, and it's just that's what I listen to. That's what I love, and but that's not a constant. I go all the way back to like really early country and western, the true outlaw country and western guys I love.
Gangsta rap.
Yeah. There's a lot of that going on in my record collection.
You either see they're good or it's not. It really, genre doesn't matter. It's either good or not. But yeah, same thing though. Old school punk, old school metal.
Well, since y'all talking about old school metal, and I'm sure both of y'all know who I'm about to bring up, what I'd like to see in y'all's collection, I don't know if y'all ever thought about it or not, was like a Vic Rattlehead or Eddie from Iron Maiden.
Yeah, well,
that would be kind of cool. Yeah, it'd be cool to do an Eddie.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Mind or Killers or something would be a good one. That would look good.
Yeah, and or the Vic Rattlehead from Megadeth. That's those are two that are iconic figures for those two bands, and that would be great in your collection.
And I think, you know, you've hit it on what inspires you. And I think that it's great that you're able to, you know, listen to what inspires you, and then it flows through what your creation is, and then it reflects in the dolls. And all I can say is, I was talking to Timothy prior to you guys joining us, that I sure in the heck wish that when I was in school that I had a Bride of Valentine pencil sharpener, because I would have been probably the coolest kid in my class, and I would have been stabbing that pencil in the eye every time the teacher said, "You've got to do this for homework."
Whose idea was that?
I had a lot of people say, you know, that they wish these dolls were around when they were kids.
Well, what about whose idea was the pencil sharpener? Which one of y'all came up with that one?
That was Mez, actually, who designed the pencil sharpener,
Yeah,
which was really an ingenious creation, I think.
Yeah, well, the pencil sharpener was like 3 years in development. It just went forever and ever to try to figure that thing out.
Yeah,
But,
that's
but yeah,
awesome.
pretty amazing.
The way it spits out the shavings. The way it spits out the shavings. That's really awesome.
And I think, too, that in the future, I don't know, I mean, I haven't had the privilege of looking at all your inspirational dolls yet, but I know in part of the work that we've done in situations, and then I wrote a book about the Goat Man, I'm hoping that maybe in the future you would do a Goat Man doll. I don't know if you've thought of doing, it's different than a Krampus or whatever, but it's actually a Goat Man monster doll. And I think if I was to see that, I think that would be absolutely amazing, because in Texas where we are, there's a lot of Goat Man legends. It's huge with sightings. I know a lot of paranormal teams on TV did investigations about the Goat Man Bridge. It's in a lot of parts of the U.S. There's a lot of Goat Man myth and legends.
Well, I can tell you had me at goat.
Well, there you go.
I love that urban legend stuff. I eat that shit up. We did a series 27, I think. It was like a kind of myth and legend series that we did that were based on you know, different not urban legends, but different, like I don't know what you call, like mythical monster type characters around the world. Like here in Jersey, we have like a creature called the Jersey Devil.
Right.
And that was always something I thought was going to take. I don't know how to do it yet, but it would be a cool doll to do.
I think the Jersey Devil, because that's such a well-known story. And then if you were to go to the Goat Man, I mean, I think those would be hot sellers, because you know, we did an investigation where we caught the Goat Man. There's other teams that have caught the Goat Man
in Texas, and that's the Texas market for sure. You know, for the Goat Man.
Yeah. I think when people, you know, we do stuff that like is somewhat identifiable that people know, like when we did a Day of the Dead series that was like hugely popular down in you know like southern states and stuff like that, and Mexico. That was just like a really big series, because there was just, you know, there wasn't at the time too much Day of the Dead stuff like merchandise as it is now.
Right. Let me ask you this, because on y'all's website, when we were researching the history of the company, it says that there's actually 3 of y'all that started the company, and one of them's name is Michael. What happened with Michael?
That's Mez. He's still around. He's still active in it all.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure he was if he was still in the business, or y'all bought him out, or I didn't know what happened there, but okay. Awesome. So I'm gonna ask you this question, because it was just released last night, Halloween. I don't know if y'all seen it or not, and if you're an '80s kid or grew up in the '80s like I did, I'm sure y'all fans of the original franchise, and some of the people my age don't accept the fact that Laurie Strode is back, and so because she was killed. And I know that y'all have Michael Myers merchandise, and it looks very good, by the way. But how do y'all feel about the new film?
I haven't seen it yet.
I saw it, and I think it has some problems.
Yeah.
I was really a fan of like Laurie Strode being like Sarah Connor from Terminator. That kind of turns me off.
Yeah, it turns me off too because in Halloween Resurrection, her character was killed, and so to bring her back and it was a money grab, obviously. But
well, you know that they're supposed to like this. You know, they're supposed to forget every sequel that ever happened.
Yeah, is it supposed to, if I'm not mistaken, take place like immediately after one? This is kind of like part two.
Yeah, we got part two.
So everything that you invested in, everything you ever watched, everything that you ever loved about the brand, basically saying never happened.
Yeah, that's
so
what
you got to go into this one acting as if you didn't waste all those hours of your life watching those films and believing in those films, only to have the powers that be tell you, we fooled you. None of that really happened. Just please watch this new money grab movie, and
yeah,
you know, everything will be cool.
That's why I haven't seen it yet, and I don't even know if I'm gonna see it. but I'm still a Michael Myers fan. I just want to see him without Laurie Strode. So you know.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
And so,
you know, just because she's back doesn't mean it's going to make it a great movie.
nah, and it's well, if she's killed off and you bring in, it's just stupid to bring her back if you're trying to follow the original franchise. So I disagree. But yeah, I'm glad that y'all agreed with me on that one because a lot of people that grew up, like you said, investing the hours in those original films are aggravated that she's back, and they're saying to just disregard that.
Yeah, they're telling you none of that ever happened. All those movies you watched, just forget about them.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that's when, in my view, I mean, you know, you're just ruining it for, I mean, gone are the days of the classic horror in the 80s or what have you, where, you know, you had movies that were really kind of worth watching that had really substance. Now I think it's with a lot of things it's just about the money and it's not about the story. And you know, I'm glad from your perspective as artists that it's just not about that, because you are still, you know, the products are quality products. They're reasonably that, you know, everybody can afford to own a living dead doll. They're not out of reach, and I think that's what I like. That's a lot of the curb appeal for these masterpieces, is that, you know, you don't have to break the bank to join, you know, start collecting these awesome dolls. I mean, you can get yourself a great doll.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it gets harder and harder to you know, keep things propped down. That's just the way things go. But I think Mezco as a company has really done the brand a service by finding ways to do just that without, you know, really affecting the quality at all. You know, if anything, they found ways to you know, boost the quality of what we're doing.
Quick question for each one of y'all. I know that in the current series, y'all have to have a favorite. What's your favorite? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you love them all.
Favorite, you know, I mean, I like the Legion style a lot. I'm happy the way she came out. I like Eve a lot. I like them all a lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, it's tough because they're all kind of our kids. You know, I do like Eve. I think she came out really good from the factory, and I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Legion is definitely up there. But, you know, Candy Rotten, that's just, yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that.
Yeah, okay. I didn't want to put y'all on the spot, but I kind of did because I wanted to see what the creators actually preferred. But that's awesome that y'all having a hard time choosing. But even though y'all did throw out some names, and you know, I definitely recommend anybody going and getting a Living Dead doll. Do y'all have anything I know y'all just released the 20th series, but do y'all have anything else big coming up besides the next event that you want to talk about?
I mean, there's going to be a lot of big things happening next year. Nothing to really say yet, but you know, there'll definitely be more licensed movie dolls coming out.
Okay.
You know, we got the It doll still from the new It movie, Pennywise, will be out next year.
Okay.
And a couple other horror characters will be out next year.
Awesome. Awesome. That's good to hear. And we look forward to seeing it. And we're definitely going to keep building our collection of Living Dead dolls. And I really appreciate both of y'all joining us tonight, taking the time out to join us tonight. And, you know, we want to say thank you for that.
Because I know the fans out there, there's a lot of fans out there that are huge. You have a huge, massive following around the world. And I think for the fans to be able to hear you guys on a human level, because you're sort of in the icon status yourself, because you have such a following, whether it be Twitter, all over the internet. I think it's great for the fans to be able to hear you interacting, answer questions, and it kind of puts it into perspective that, you know, there are geniuses behind these masterpieces. And I thank you for taking time out of your schedule to kind of enlighten us and the fans. And I'm very pleased with my doll, and like I said, I hope you keep creating for many years to come.
Thank you. I mean, we're fans ourselves, so I think one thing we've always strived for was to break down any kind of wall that would separate, you know, a fan from, I don't want to say a celebrity, but, you know, whatever the hell we are. That, you know, we've always kept a very open relationship with our fans and always, you know, talk to them and befriend them. And, you know, I think that was like an important thing for us, is always to keep that open relationship with our fan base.
I mean, yeah, we've been such big fans our whole lives. You know, it's what even sparked our friendship. It's, you know, it's why we started hanging out. Was you know, the same interest in music, but Damien and I tended to hang out more so than not because of you know, horror movies and things like that. So you know, we get it. We get what it's like to really understand someone else's work, and so yeah, I mean, you know, getting out, meet people that enjoy what we do, I think that's one of the most important parts for both of us.
Okay, that's awesome, and it's good that y'all got a strong friendship like that. And I'm also like to say I'm really glad that both of y'all are going to be working on the new Eddie doll that'll be released next year.
And I'll be looking for the Goatman doll.
Hey, Eddie does have an axe now, so I know that y'all have quite a few dolls with like the axes, but yeah, Eddie has an axe, so that would be great.
All right, yeah,
sounds awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that was Ed and Damien from the Living Dead Dolls. And this has been a very busy day today.
But it's very refreshing to be able to speak to the creators of these dolls. And I think it's fascinating too that they really allow the fans of these horror movies to take a little piece of the horror movie home and have a doll from your favorite horror movie that you can, a lot of people sleep with their dolls. They have them displayed all over the place. So they're giving the fans the opportunity to again bring a piece of their favorite horror film back home to them, and it doesn't break the bank, folks. So,
and like I said, we definitely tested one, the durability of one. That was a criteria for us. And when we tested it, it took a while to actually, the doll didn't even completely destroy. That's the whole thing about it.
Exactly. That's how durable the dolls are. And you know what? I'm actually so pleased at the quality, and I know that my particular doll, Ernest Lee Rotten, comes with a mask, but his face as a ghoul is just so pretty. I don't really let him wear the mask as much as he would like to, but he does come with a mask, and again, the death certificate. And please, folks, the death certificates, etc., are securely fastened to the back of the doll. Just a lot of people were wondering, or, you know, where is the death certificate? Please take the time.
Yeah, you got to unwrap the package. I mean, you know, unwrap the package, take the doll out, and then that's where the paperwork is.
Well, I know a lot of people get excited when, you know, they have their Michael Myers or Exorcist or It doll come in the mail. That, you know, it is a big production, because when I got mine in the mail, I was so careful I didn't want to rip it, but well worth the purchase, folks, for living dead dolls.
All right, well, that's it for us. Take it easy.
Take care.
Bye.